welcome to Jewish News TV. Coming up this week, talking tough on terrorism, the leader of the Mardi Gras pack, and is Melbourne Mary the oldest Jew in the world? But first, forged passports bearing the names of 3 Australian-born Jews were apparently used by the suspected assassins of Hamas terror chief Mahmoud al-Mabhouh in Dubai last month. Foreign Minister Stephen Smith told Parliament on Thursday that it asked Israeli Ambassador Yuval Rotem for his country's full cooperation in investigating the alleged identity fraud.
I've just made a statement to the House in respect of the abuse of 3 Australian passports, and that is there for all of you to see. This morning I called in Israeli Ambassador to Australia, Ambassador Rotem. I made it crystal clear to Ambassador Rotem that the Australian government expected the full cooperation of the Israeli government, Israeli officials and Israeli agencies in the Australian Federal Police investigation that has been initiated.
The Foreign Minister added that this issue poses a serious risk to the close alliance between the two countries.
And that in the course of that inquiry, we would expect the Israeli government, its officials and its agencies to fully cooperate with the Australian Federal Police in that investigation. I also indicated to him that if we didn't receive that cooperation, then we would potentially draw adverse conclusions from that. And I also, as I said earlier, made it clear to him if the results of that investigation caused us to come to a conclusion that the abuse of passports had in any way been sponsored by officials or condoned by officials, we would regard that as not being the act of a friend.
Also this week in Canberra, Prime Minister Kevin Rudd launched the government's counter-terrorism white paper. We crossed to Naomi Levine, who was at the launch.
The new white paper looks at the changing nature of Australia's terrorism landscape in 2 senses. Firstly, the continued threat from Al-Qaeda operatives from existing hotspots such as Afghanistan and Pakistan, but also emerging arenas such as Yemen and Somalia. Secondly, the increased threat of homegrown terrorism. Opposition MPs, as well as Executive Council of Australian Jewry President Robert Goote, commended the government for recognising the threat posed by Australian-born radicals. However, both called for an increase in focus on this growing danger. Back to you, Zenny.
In other news, following the death of the world's oldest Jew this month, aged 113, a 109-year-old Australian could now hold that title. Mary Rothstein from Melbourne, who celebrated her birthday on Saturday, was born in 1901, when a loaf of bread cost just 1 penny and Queen Victoria still sat on the throne. Asked for her secret, the bingo-loving great-grandmother once said, "I can't understand why I've lived so long, it doesn't seem possible." Arts news now, and the iconic gay Israeli singer Ivry Leader is embarking on his first tour of Australia this week. His trip, which coincides with the Sydney Mardi Gras, will see the 36-year-old take to the stage in New South Wales and Victoria. We spoke to Leader ahead of his tour.
So, Ivry, why have you come to Australia?
Australia is this place you always want to go, because everybody tells you that it's amazing. And because it's so far, you don't get to go there a lot. And this opportunity happened, and we said, oh, sure.
Leader will be appearing at the National Institute of Dramatic Arts in Sydney on February the 24th and at Melbourne's Prince of Wales Band Room on February the 28th. For more on these stories, check out the Australian Jewish News, available every Thursday at your local newsagent, and log on to jewishnews.net.au for the latest in the Jewish world, an extended sports bulletin, and some great competitions. This week, your chance to win a double pass to see Monotonics live and a supersonic remote control car. Thanks for joining us. I'm Zeddy Lawrence, and this is Jewish News TV, leaving you with one of the other Jewish acts appearing at Mardi Gras, Owen Keller and his drag quartet, Kinsey Six.
We arm the world, we harm the children, but giving arms will make us higher pay, so let's start giving.